As I'm sure you all know by now, South Park stirred up some controversy recently by depicting the Prophet Muhammad in a bear suit. As with the Danish cartoons published in 2005, some Muslims took great umbrage at this act of blasphemy, with a few of them even delivering veiled death threats towards South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. As if this whole ordeal wasn't absurd enough, the punchline in the South Park imbroglio was the fact that it actually wasn't Muhammad in the bear suit. It was actually Santa Claus. So to recap, it's not permissible to represent the Prophet Muhammad. A drawing of Muhammad is a representation of Muhammad, so that is not permissible. A drawing of Muhammad in a bear suit also qualifies as a representation of Muhammad, so that is not permissible either. A drawing of Santa Claus in a bear suit also qualifies as a representation of Muhammad, so that too is not permissible. This brings up a whole host of philosophical and political questions. The issue of censorship is an obvious one, but there's an even deeper issue at play here that I want to explore. Is there anything that doesn't qualify as a representation of Muhammad? It seems like these radical Muslims aren't just declaring jihad on heretics, but on the very concept of representation itself. If some Muslims are going to embrace a homicidal approach to semiotics, the least they could do is think it through for a bit. By way of illustration, consider René Magritte's painting La Treachery des Images, or The Treachery of Images. The text, in case you, like me, cannot read French, says, "This is not a pipe," which, despite many people's immediate first reaction, is actually true. Go ahead, try to stuff tobacco in it. You'll find that you cannot. This is not a pipe. This is just a representation of a pipe. The brilliance of Magritte's painting is that it forces us to reconsider what we thought we have seen. The image is treacherous because we mistake it for the thing that it is supposed to represent. It may seem kind of obvious, even sophomoric when spelled out like that, but this insight is actually one that's very hard to keep in mind. I bet you've forgotten it already, because you think you're looking at Magritte's painting. But this is actually not René Magritte's La Treachery des Images. This is, yet again, just another representation of that painting. The thing itself is hanging in the Los Angeles County Museum. So with Magritte in mind, I return to my question. Is there anything which can fail to be a representation of Muhammad? What about this, for example? The text makes it as clear as I know how to make it. This is not the Prophet Muhammad. Surely this declaration is enough to disqualify it as a picture of Muhammad. If that's the case, then how about this? The content certainly seems like it's the Prophet Muhammad, but again, the disclaimer at the bottom should dispel any misunderstanding. This is not the Prophet Muhammad. It is merely an image. And if that's the case, then how about this? This image led to death threats and riots. Could all of that have been prevented if only a few words were added to it? It's not like it actually changes the image itself. It just changes the context in which the image is seen. But that context, of course, makes all the difference. In fact, there is no such thing as a representation, simpliciter, in and of itself. There are only things that are taken to be representations. This is what allows images to betray us in this way. They make us confuse that which is taken to be with reality itself. This is as true of Muhammad as it is of Magritte's pipe that is not a pipe. So I suppose if there is anything I would hope people can take away from all this controversy surrounding the images of Muhammad, it is that insight of Magritte's. Images are treacherous. And no more so than when they lead you to betray your fellow human beings, to deliberately hurt them, whether that be through an injurious drawing, or through the threat of violence, or through actual physical harm. When you do these things, you do nothing but cause fear and anger and hatred in the hearts of your brothers and sisters. In your short-sightedness, you soak the world in the combustible bile of intolerance and pain. For the sake of all humanity, please stop it.